Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Going the Distance. This is episode 53. Can you believe we've done 53 episodes? I can't. But I want to welcome the new members who are just joining us for the first time, and I want to welcome back the members who've been joining me from the beginning. Y'all's support is greatly appreciated. So if you guys don't mind, before we get started, hit that like button, comment on this video, and subscribe. And then hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode when I post episode or a short. So let's jump into it. We've got some football news, scores, predictions, and music news to get into. So first we're going to start with talking about Bill Belichick. And he has interviewed for the UNC Chapel Hill football head coaching job. But the caveat is he'll only take the job if his son Steven is coach in waiting, which means Steven will be head coach after Bill decides he doesn't want to coach anymore. And I think that might, Bill will take the job and then he'll coach for a year, maybe two, and then he'll hand the reins off to his son. And, hopefully his son can do as good as he did. But, we'll see. I kind of don't see that happening, but, anything can happen. Anything's possible. And Steven has worked behind Bill in the past when Bill was with the Patriots. And now Steven, I believe, is in Alabama as a coordinator. So after Bill got let go or left the Patriots, Steven left the Patriots and left the NFL and went to the Alabama Crimson Tide. So he's been there for as long as Bill's been away from the NFL. So, maybe this is a good shot. And I'm a firm believer in quarterbacks, in coordinators. Sit behind the head coach and learn from them. So you can be that type of head coach if your name's called to be the next head coach of the Lions or the Patriots or whatever team. Just like a quarterback. Sit behind the quarterback. When Tom Brady was playing, Jimmy Garoppolo sat behind Tom, learned what he could from Tom, and then he took what he learned and took it to San Francisco and took it to the Raiders. So that was his success, is he was his own quarterback, but he took what he learned sitting behind a great quarterback and incorporated that in his game. So I'll keep you guys updated. If I hear anything about Bill accepting the job, I'll let you guys know. And, we'll see how Chapel Hill does if Bill gets the job. So now we're going to move into some football scores, and we're going to move into Week 14 scores. I can't believe it's Week 14 in the NFL. But we're going to start from Thursday night, and the Lions defeated the Packers 34-31. That was a good game, y'all. It was the top two teams in that division, and as a trivia, I guess is what you can say, the Lions are 12-1. The only team that has beaten the Lions this season are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 2. So, that's pretty impressive. And Tampa is and has been a force this season. They haven't, blown teams out like the Lions have, but, they've put up some good numbers. So, that was a good game. I think that final score was like 34-31, something like the score of the Lions-Packers game on Thursday night. But it was a game. It was a good game, and I think the Lions are Super Bowl bound. And I'm hearing rumors that Aiden Hutchinson might be ready for the Super Bowl if they make it to the Super Bowl. He might even come back as early as the championship game, NFC championship game, if they make it that far. I don't think he should come back that soon. I think he should just rest that leg and come back next season because that injury was so brutal when he broke his leg. Even Fox didn't re-show it. It was so bad. But, that's on him. I feel like Dan Campbell will sit back and he'll say, just rest that leg, and be ready for next season. Instead of saying, yeah, come on back. They're 12-1. They're doing fine with him sitting on the sidelines, recovering from that broken leg. And we don't want it to be another Robert Griffin III situation where he got injured and then he was put right back in the game and messed his leg up even more. In fact, that's what I think happened to RG3's career because he had potential. He had everything going for him. And then he got a knee injury or leg injury, and he was out for a couple plays in the game. And then Mike Shanahan gave the okay for him to come back in the game. So he did, and he hurt his leg even more. And in essence, that's what destroyed that man's career. And I think he would have had a better career had he rested that leg, did physical therapy on that leg, and come back the next year. But he was too eager. So I think these coaches need to sit back and say, hey, take care of your health and yourself. We're fine. We want you to be okay. We don't want lifelong repercussions because you came back too soon. So the Lions have a big game next week. I'm sorry, I kind of got off on a tangent there. But the Lions have a big game this coming weekend, and we're going to get into that with the scores here in a little bit. But moving on to more scores, the Jaguars defeated the Titans 10-6. The Dolphins defeated the Jets 32-26 in overtime. The Vikings defeated the Falcons 42-21 in Kirk Cousins' return to Minnesota. And Kirk Cousins Kirk Cousins threw 8 interceptions in that game. But when you've got somebody like Justin Jefferson and playing, and that defense just being hard and wanting to win, hungry to win, they had something to prove, just like Kirk Cousins had something to prove. Kirk Cousins was like, I went off and I can do it without you. Well, you're 6-6 and the Vikings are 10-2. So, even though I've been a big Kirk Cousins fan since he came on the scene, he has an arrogance about him that I don't agree with this season. I mean, he got mad because they drafted Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington this year. You need a backup for you, Kurt. You're not you can't just do it on yourself. What if you got injured this season? Atlanta would be scrambling. Well, now Atlanta has Michael Penix Jr., and so if something happens to you, Kurt, Michael Penix is right there to pick up and go, and pick up the reins. But I'm happy for the Vikings. They won 42-21 over the Falcons. And, that again, I see that as a revenge game for Kirk Cousins, but, the Vikings are just good this season. The Saints defeated the Giants 14-11, which sounds like a really boring game, which I think it was. But in that game, Derek Carr fractured his hand and is done for the season because it was his throwing hand, and he can't throw with a broken hand. So he's done for the season, and the Saints have signed another quarterback. Never heard of this guy. His name's like DeCinso or something like that. I've never heard of him, but we'll see how the Giants or the Saints do this with Derek Carr out for the season. I believe in that division, Tampa Bay leads the division, and Atlanta comes in second. So we'll see how that goes. The Eagles defeated the Panthers 22-16, and that was a good game because the Panthers led through most of that game. They led going into the fourth quarter and through the fourth quarter, and then, like Kansas City, the Eagles come out of nowhere and score a touchdown to win the game, just like Kansas City scores a field goal to win the game, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. Moving on, the Buccaneers defeated the Raiders 28-13, and that's with I believe Aiden O'Connell for the Raiders got hurt in that game, so now they're going to a third-string quarterback, which, it's coming toward the end of the season, and these players are getting hurt, but we don't want them to get so hurt that it messes up their career. So, Aiden, we wish you speedy recovery. Moving on, the Rams, in my opinion, this was the game of the week. The Rams defeated the Bills 44-42. Now, I'm a Bills fan. I'm a Josh Allen fan. So this was disheartening for the fact that the Bills lost. Plus, they're doing so good this season, and they were chasing Kansas City for that number 1 seed. But now this hurts them because now they've lost. Now they're, I think, 2 games behind the Chiefs, because we'll get into this. The Chiefs won this week, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. But the Bills have a big game coming up this week. And, now granted, Josh Allen did something no other quarterback's ever done and got the most fantasy points in history. He got 51 fantasy points, and no other quarterback has done that. So congratulations to anybody who's got Josh Allen in their fantasy. I wish I did. And he would get me 51 points. But, Josh is good. I see Tom Brady in Josh Allen. And it's just disheartening to see that the Bills don't have a Super Bowl with him yet. But the Rams defeated the Bills 44-42. And, it was a good one, y'all. The 49ers defeated the Bears 38-13. So you think the 49ers are back on the winning track, but they're playing the Bears. So I'm sorry if you're a Bears fan, but I could have seen that as an easy win for the 49ers when that came out. Moving on to the Sunday night game that I told you we were going to talk a little bit about. The Chiefs defeated the Chargers 19-17. Now, the Chargers led going into the fourth quarter 17-16. So not much happened in that fourth quarter, but as always, the Chiefs, the refs, go down the field, kick a field goal, win the game. They hurt Justin Herbert. He had an ankle injury after that game. He was limping a little bit. He came back out and he finished the game, but I'm sure that ankle, I'm sorry guys, is hurting him pretty good right now. But, he's not going to miss any time, but it's still the fact of they were hitting so hard. The Chiefs were hitting so hard that they hurt Justin Herbert. And they hurt a wide receiver, hurt his shoulder. Will Dissly hurt his shoulder. So he's out, probably for the remainder of the season. And, the Chiefs are 11-1, or 12-1, something like that. But, they should be. when you go back and you look at it, the Chiefs should be, 9-6 or something, because they're winning by these field goals, and the refs are helping them. The refs aren't calling personal foul penalties. They're not calling holding penalties. They're not calling face mask penalties. They're letting them get away with it. And to top it all off, at the end of this game, when the Chiefs kicked the field goal, it knocked off the left upright into the goalpost. Anybody else would hit the goalpost and it would bounce out. So tell me something's not up with that. But we have to endure another Chiefs win this week against the Chargers, 19-17. Oh, and that the Chiefs won their division with that win. So, we'll see. I still don't see them going to the Super Bowl and three-peating, but we'll see how that goes. And then last night, the Monday night game, we had the Bengals defeat the Cowboys 27-20. And y'all, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, and Chase Brown were just phenomenal last night. They played like they should have been playing all season. Their record does not reflect how good they've been playing. Now, that being said, the Bengals are number one in offense. They're number one quarterbacks. They're number one in passing. I'm pretty sure it's quarterback. And, they're number one on several things. And their record is 5-8. Why is it 5-8? If you've got the number one offense or the number one defense, how is your record not showing that? Just saying. But congratulations to the Bengals. I'm thrilled because, again, I'm a Joe Burrow fan. And anytime he wins, I'm happy. Sorry, guys. Got a little messed up there. Voice went out a little bit. So now we're going to move into some predictions for Week 15. Okay, so we're going to start out Thursday night with the Rams and the 49ers. They're playing in Santa Clara, but I believe the Rams are going to win that game with Puka Nacua on the team and back and healthy, and you've got Cooper Kupp healthy, and this is a division game, so both teams are going to be playing hard. So I see this being a good scoring game, but in the end, I think the Rams are going to win. The Bengals at the Titans, I see the Bengals. The Redskins or the Commanders at the Saints, I see the Redskins, Commanders winning that game. Oh, and as a side note for this team, I'm hearing things where they might bring the Redskins back and just do away with the Commanders, which I think is a good idea because everybody sees them as the Redskins, not the Commanders. So, but anyway, I see the Redskins winning that game. Cowboys at the Panthers. I see the Cowboys winning that game. Unless, some unforeseen circumstances happen. I see the Cowboys winning. This next game, I don't even know if I want to say. The Jets at the Jaguars. Both teams are 3-10. They're playing in Jacksonville. I'm picking the Jaguars in that game. I just can't pick the Jets. Plus, that's going to be like a dumpster fire of a game, I believe. And that's to put it nicely. Some people call it something else, but I'm calling it a dumpster fire of a game. Because Aaron Rodgers stinks this season. For the Jets. Trevor Lawrence for the Jaguars is out for the season with a concussion / shoulder injury. So he's done. He's going in for shoulder surgery. But they're playing in Jacksonville, so that's the only caveat. And I can't pick the Jets. So I'm picking Jacksonville in that game. The Dolphins at the Texans. This ought to be interesting. But in the end, I think the Texans are going to win that game. Even though Miami has Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, I hope Waddle has a good game because, he's in my fantasy league. But I think in the end, the Texans come out on top with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins. Plus, I think Stephon Diggs is back, so that ought to be a good one. Moving on, we've got the Colts at the Broncos. I see the Broncos winning that game. The Steelers at the Eagles. That's going to be a good one, but I think I've got the Steelers winning that game. The Patriots at the Cardinals. I'm a Patriots fan, y'all. Y'all know I'm a Patriots fan, but I think the Cardinals are going to win that game. The Buccaneers at the Chargers. I've got the Bucs winning that game. And then I saved this game for last. It's at 4:25. It's going to be the game of the week, y'all. If y'all don't watch any other game this week, please watch this game. The Bills at the Lions. In my opinion, this is the Super Bowl preview that we're going to see. But you know what? I'm not picking. I can't pick this game. I like Josh Allen. I like Jared Goff. I like the Bills. I like the Lions. If you made me choose, I'm picking the Lions, y'all. It's tough. It's tough because I love both teams. I love both quarterbacks. I like Dan Campbell. I like Jared Goff. I like Josh Allen. I like Sean McDermott. I like the programs. I like the turnaround for both of these teams. But in the end, I think the Lions are going to win. But I have a very sneaky suspicion this is going to be a very high-scoring game, and because you've got the Detroit defense doing great things. You've got Sam Laporta, going off every week. You've got Jared Goff, who can go a full game without throwing an incompletion, and then you've got Josh Allen, who can throw the ball, catch the ball, run it for a touchdown. How does he do that? He did it a few weeks ago. He threw the ball; it was batted back in his hands, and he ran in for a touchdown. There's just so many aspects of this game that are going to be so good, and I can't wait to see this game, and it's going to be a Super Bowl preview, I'm sure. This is the Super Bowl everybody wants. I saw something before that said the Super Bowl everybody wants, the Bills Lions. The Super Bowl we're probably going to get is Kansas City and Philadelphia. In my opinion, Bills Lions is the Super Bowl this year. But I'm picking the Lions. But moving back to the predictions, the Packers at the Seahawks, I'm actually going to go out and pick the Seahawks on this game. They're playing in Seattle, and it is hard, for an opposing team to come in and play. Now, granted, Seattle is 8-5, and the Packers are 9-4, but I just think Seattle is going to be too much for them. And then a game that they put somewhere, if we forgot, buried somewhere. The Chiefs and the Browns. Y'all already know who's going to win that game. I don't even have to predict. Y'all know who's going to win that game. And it's going to be on a field goal. And the refs are going to be involved somehow. So, the Chiefs are winning that game. It's the Ravens at the Giants. I'm picking the Ravens. And then Monday night, we have two games. It's a doubleheader. We have the Bears at the Vikings. I actually have the Vikings winning that game, obviously. And then the Falcons at the Raiders. I have the Falcons winning that game. and because I think Kirk Cousins is going to have a bounce back game, and it's going to be amazing. That game's going to be Kirk's return game, I guess is what you can call it, because he needs to redeem himself from the 8 interceptions he had against the Vikings, and I think he does that against the Raiders. So I picked the Falcons in that game. Okay, so now we're going to move into the What We're Listening To segment, which is one of my favorite segments. And who are we listening to this week? We're listening to a group called Pentatonix. They're an a cappella band. They play pop music and they do Christmas music. Now they're really popular around Christmas time because they do a lot of Christmas music, and that's how I came to know them. But they also do pop music. They formed in Arlington, Texas in 2011. I actually found out about them in 2011 when they won the show The Sing Off in its 3rd season. It was a show hosted by Nick Lachey, and it's where it was just a show about a cappella groups who would come on the show, do their thing, and see who wins. Well, Pentatonix won the 3rd season in 2011, and so I found out about them around that time. Their debut album, it was a double album. It was like an EP, but they did a double. It was PTX Volume 1 and 2, which is a good one. And this is what I mean. They don't just do Christmas music. There's songs like, Somebody That I Used to Know, which is a cover song. They do a cover of Imagine Dragons, Radioactive. I mean, they're good. They've had 34 singles, 58 music videos, 6 compilation albums, and no live albums. The new albums, Holiday Around the World, was the last new album they did back in 2022. In fact, I like their Christmas music, but I also like, their PTX volumes 1 and 2, because that shows you the range that they have. And they've had like 10 or 12 albums. I can't really remember how many albums they've got, but they've had 10 or 12 albums. And, they got started out with EPs like everybody else, and then moved into doing full-length albums. So I'm going to see how many albums they've actually had. But they're an a cappella group, and if you know anything about a cappella music, the music behind them is like a beatbox type thing. It's not guitars, drums, bass, all that. It's just singing with no music. But these guys will go, will make their own beat to go with the song. And so they're good. So I would definitely check them out. I would just go listen to all their songs, because, I can't pick just one that's really good. But, it's just, go check them out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments of Pentatonix, what you guys thought of the show this week. And just to wrap up, before the video's over, I want you to hit the thumbs up. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button so you see when I post a video, and you hit the notification so you never miss an episode when I post. And I do that with shorts and videos, because I'll do shorts throughout the week. So I hope everybody has a wonderful week and weekend. And we will be back next week with some music news, sports news, scores, predictions. And God bless.